Recently I picked up a copy of Dead Island and completed it. Now, I'm going to say first off that I really wasn't planning on getting this game. It was thanks to a friend saying that the game would be good and a fun multiplayer experience to play with other friends that I decided to pick it up. I really didn't have that much faith in the game first off, but I decided to give it a try. The game seemed to spread after the release of the trailer, which everyone seemed to love basically. And I really did not see the game as that. It was just CGI effects that really show nothing of the gameplay in general. Like I said, I really wasn't excited to begin with, but the gameplay was okay. There were a lot of problems with the game that I seemed to experience, most of which involved the multiplayer. I really don't really rate games based on their multiplayer to begin with, because most of them usually involve killing each other and don't influence the story at all. But for this game, it had to get a slide because really the multiplayer experience and single player don't have that much of a difference. You're still following the same storyline. That's really one of the only positive aspects of the game, though, is the multiplayer, the ability to play around with friends. The game really seemed to have a lot of problems, though, in its multiplayer as well. One of the major problems I seem to have is the fact that I could not track some side quests when I was playing it. For some reason, whenever a main storyline is being tracked, you cannot untrack it online, and you can't track a sub-quest until the main quest is complete. A good amount of times they'll automatically send you on to the next main storyline, so you'll have to wait until a certain point to go back and actually be able to do the sub-quest. Another problem is the atmosphere the game tried to follow. It seemed to want to mirror the CGI opening of the game and want it to be depressing with every character. This is something that I really don't think worked in its favor, because while it did take the ability to mod weapons from Dead Rising, the reason why so many people enjoyed that is because there was more of fun in the gameplay. There were crazy people in it, but there were still some that were sane, or there was some positive in it. This game really has none of that, which makes it a whole lot more pointless in my opinion. The characters really didn't seem to care that much, and since it was just a voice, it's not like you really accomplished anything. Top it off with the dull characters that seem to follow. The main characters really don't seem like they're there to begin with. In cutscenes, they really feel a bit lifeless at times. They barely seem to want to emote. I'm not saying that lack of voice is bad, but it really doesn't seem like they want to say anything. In certain scenes, they really don't seem to want to care, and it also sometimes counteracts other scenes where they did show care. Like, say, a death of a character will make them feel depressed or something, and then later on it won't. The game also seemed to be too predictable. By the time I was halfway through the game, it really seemed like I was able to predict everything that was going to happen, and it really made it feel like it wasn't trying to be creative. Something happens, you need to help, then later on, the people that you helped are no longer there. Seem to follow that part over and over. It also doesn't help that one of the places you go to is really pointless in my opinion. In all honesty, I really would have felt better if they would have taken it out. I am of course talking about the city level. The city level is really unnecessary. You go there and yet nothing's accomplished. It might as well have been taken out of the story, and yet it still would have followed fine. You go there to get food, yet when you come back you don't have it. So it's really, in my opinion, why it's so unnecessary. Also, the fact that it's annoying. Glitches seem to want to spread the most there, and the fact that it makes you go through so many sewer levels on that part is just ridiculous. The one thing that I really don't like in a game is whenever it's a repetitive sewer level, especially in a city. The game was meant to sell out the fact that it's a dead island. There's a resort where zombies are, and yet it spent more time in the city, the destroyed city of any Destructo game, than in the actual island. I didn't mind the actual physics of the island. It was good. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the places that related to it as well, such as a swamp in the later half. Yet the city I just despise. It was unnecessary. Along with enemy cheapness that really seemed to follow. The enemies in the game range from easy to completely annoying. Some enemies you're able to take down easily, and some that just want to relentlessly hit you without you even knowing it. The most annoying enemy in the game is the infected. It's one of the basic enemies along with the walkers, but the infected, they do multiple hits, and most of the time their combos aren't even broken, even with a kick. I'm not sure if this was due to glitchiness or something, but they always seem to end up taking up over half my health even when I see them and react to them, and yet I still lose all that health because his combo wouldn't break. In this game, you are going to die a lot, and I mean a lot. You're probably going to die less than me. Oh, trust me, you're probably going to die a lot less than me. But this game, you just die a lot. Matched with the fact that this game has no destructive physics, it really doesn't feel that good, in my opinion. But destructive physics, I know that sounds like a petty grievance, but still, the fact that a sandcastle can hold up over a truck and stop the truck from moving in any direction, basically making it stuck, feels completely ridiculous. To top it off, enemies were increasingly cheap throughout the game, not including the special ones, which actually have a reason for it. The atmosphere was too depressing for itself, and really could have used some happiness every now and then. The game was full of glitches and dull characters, basically making the game kind of sad in my opinion, and not in the depressing way it was trying to follow. The story was kind of complete crap, and the fact that you couldn't track side quests online makes it kind of feel odd considering the fact that the game was meant to be like that. And with predictable areas and a horrible ending, I'm afraid that this game will unfortunately have to sit at a 5.